Welcome to the Shelf Sisters. I'm Sonia.
And I'm Parrish.
And if you're listening as audio only and not watching on YouTube, first of all, go to YouTube if you can.
Doing? Yeah.
We have a whole setup. It's pumpkins galore. We have a marble pumpkin, a crocheted pumpkin. I think that's what you call it, a velvet pumpkin. We're just like heading into fall, even though it's 90 degrees out, but your house is so cold. So I have
to turn the air down because I was like, I can't breathe in here. It's freezing.
But we are so excited for the fall season. We wanted to do a fall, like, bookish chit chat, talk about our fall recommendations, fall TBRs, which is to be read, the list. We're like getting comments that people don't know what that is, but
it's like book terminology, which is like its own language, so you have to explain it sometimes.
Yeah, and I used to tell you, oh, I DNF'd this book, and you would be so confused, and I would say that to other people too, and I don't even know if people use it like that, but I just like started to, and
I like
think
interchangeably use it as DNR and DNF, so I'll say do not read or do not finish.
Yeah.
But I use it interchangeably depending on my mood.
It's just a prominent fixture in my life now because I DNF so many books, which is so upsetting.
I would say like 75% of the books that I start, I DNF, which is so sad.
It's so horrible, but then you find a diamond in the rough and your life is made for that week or 2 days, however long.
No, for sure, but I feel like I can't be such a harsh critic or I'm really going to have nothing left to read at
That's
this
what
point.
I try to do whenever I'm reading and there's something that really bugs me. I just like try to change it in my brain. Like if the author
so you just don't think about it?
If the author says like, oh, this girl wore this outfit and it's so atrocious, I'm just like, give me a second. Like, let me think of, like suede blazer with so-and-so pants. Like, I just have to think of something else because I can't give up on books that quickly now because we read so much and I can't go through an entire library and only read 2 books.
Especially these books are literally coming so well recommended by people that I trust with their recommendations. Like,
I don't get recommendations besides from you.
No, I do from people on Instagram that I really do.
Oh, that must be nice.
No, I will send them to you now because they are, I feel like I could trust them with their book recs.
Okay, that's nice. I don't have too many friends that read. Hopefully this is changing.
No, they're not actually friends. They're just people on Instagram.
Okay, well, that's
I'm trying to change the friend aspect of readers in my circle. I feel like because of this podcast. Also, we love our friends for listening, tuning in, and sending their comments for what we should talk about. So I feel like that circle's getting bigger. And pretty soon we're going to get recommendations from them.
I hope so.
I feel like
I'm waiting for it.
Yes.
I'm waiting for it.
And you know who you are.
Yeah, I can't be the only one giving recommendations out because, like, I'm going to run out of books the way that I'm just DNFing everything.
No,
but let's talk about our next book of the month pick. So last month, if you listened or watched, it was Funny Story by Emily Henry. And we picked our next book, which I'm so excited for. It's a departure.
I agree. A huge departure from our August pick. And so for September, we're going to be reading The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. Like we said, it's a departure from the summer read. This is going to take us more into the mystery-ish like route, but not really. It's an
amalgamation of a bunch of things, I feel.
No, for sure. It's like domestic thriller, but not really to the point where you're gonna have like anxiety reading it and your like heart is gonna race. But it's about a North Carolina woman who's a widower 4 times over, but she passes away and now her estate is left to her adopted son, who wants absolutely nothing to do with her estate, and he's also now married. So kind of goes through the life cycle of what he does with her estate, and kind of unraveling her life prior to that and what happened to the 4 husbands. Like,
I think the juiciest part is that
4 times over.
In the description, it says that she was kidnapped as a child.
That
so
too.
It's a web of, I think, lies is what I'm getting from the description, which is nice. And like, we can't fully say thriller because we don't know if there's actually like a murder that takes place. So I think it combines a bunch of things, which is nice for a book club.
I agree. And I think the description kind of drew us in instantly, which is already a good sign for me that I'm not going to get bored.
Yeah, like a widow 4 times over. That's kind of insane. And you were kidnapped as a child?
And that's no longer like a coincidence, right? Like after 2 times, maybe.
Well, we don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know. Because 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
They didn't all pass away. She was divorced.
No, I know. But it's like, you don't know. Whenever you think of the title, it's like, oh, she married 7 different men and just like it sucks at relationships, that's why she had to get married. And then you find out what it actually was, which I'm not going to give a spoiler right now just in case you haven't read it, but it just turned out to be something different. So
I guess we don't know. We'll see, but I think that's why it's such a great pick for September. Because it'll kind of get our minds like geared towards fall and just kind of into
season.
Because our October pick will hopefully be even more of a departure from our September one. So very excited for our pick, and it's going to be The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins.
Yeah, so read along if you want to. If you don't, it's okay. We'll give like a recap summary at the beginning.
Actually, I think people really liked that summary because even if they weren't reading, they just kind of wanted to be part of the discussion and hear about our thoughts and our ratings. I think that summary really helped to kind of give groundworks to like our episode.
Well, let's hope. Well, here, I love that you're saying that. Like,
I did get feedback, and honestly, it's feedback from people that I haven't spoken to in so long.
Okay.
So I think I can trust it because they came out of the woodworks and they actually listened, and I think that summary really helped.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right. So that was our September pick.
Yeah, and that's going to be out in 2 weeks, by the way.
Oh, yeah, setting,
Yeah, so you have 2 weeks to read. And again, if you don't want to, that's okay. You can just listen or watch.
Episode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, wait, you say what you're reading right now because I'm embarrassed by mine.
Wait,
and you go first.
Okay. I don't think I'm embarrassed by mine, but I will say I'm like strapped on time right now in September. It's honestly such a busy month, but I'm reading the next Mrs. Parrish currently. So if you read the last Mrs. Parrish,
I don't think I did.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay. It's honestly like a pretty easy read, but it's more of like a domestic, I wouldn't say thriller, but I think it's a little bit less anxiety inducing than that. But the next Mrs. Parrish, I think so far I'm 20% in, and so far so good. Like, it has me hooked. I'm not DNFing or DNRing the book yet. So I think that's a good sign for me. Okay. But that's the only one on my docket for right now. And then, of course, I'll be reading The Heiress shortly after.
Yeah, I forgot that we had to read The Heiress, so my fault. TBR is like pretty long, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to have to, wiggle some stuff around, figure out what to do. But
I'm so excited to hear now what your pick is.
Okay. Okay, let me just set the scene as to why I picked this book.
Yes.
Okay. It was, I want to say, like 3 a.m. when I picked this book. I had gone to a party, came home.
Wait, you picked this on a Saturday night?
I don't even remember what's today, Tuesday. I think it was Saturday night. I went out, I came home really late, and I always have to shower whenever I come back. Like, I don't wash my makeup off in the sink. I jump in the shower.
No, 1,000%. And people that don't after a night out, ew.
I don't think that's the case because to each their own. Got into bed so late, and I had first started not this book, but another book, which was a World War II baking book. It was like a baker.
A sentence I never thought was coming. A World War II baking book.
And I love World War II books, and I love baking. Like, literally my perfect book, you would think. And I got so excited, and it was about a baker during World War II who, I mean, obviously there's like rations, right? Like, they don't have everything available. So I think it was that kind of vibe. Like, she had to go with what she had and bake for other people. And I was so excited. I put it on, and it was on Kindle Unlimited, so it was even better.
That is always such a plus.
I put it on, and I'm reading in bed, and again, I'm doing that thing where I'm just like, oh, the writing is not for me. Like, I don't know what to do right now, but I'm going to keep it pushing. Like, let's see how this goes. And it just got worse and worse. And the content could have been so good.
Right.
The writing just, it felt very immature for a World War II book. Like, if I'm
Who was
reading,
the author?
I don't know.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say it.
Right.
I wouldn't say the book because
True.
it's just, I feel so bad.
Right.
But,
that's very nice of you.
yeah, I'm a nice person.
Okay.
But, you know, like, if you're reading a book about a war, it's supposed to be serious and it just has that sort of aura, right?
No, I agree.
This was not written like that. It was almost written like, you know those books that have cartoon covers?
Oh, no.
That kind of writing?
Right, I would never start the book like that.
It felt like that kind of writing. And it didn't make sense. And literally, I think at this point, it was like 3:30 a.m. And I have to read before I go to bed. That's how I fall asleep. And I was like, okay, I need to start another book so I can pass out. And it's 3:30 a.m. I'm scrolling. I'm trying to find a Kindle Unlimited book because I'm not going to like buy a $15 book when I'm like,
when
you know, buzzed in bed at 3:30.
Right.
Like,
no,
that's just, no. And I find this book, okay? And the cover is a cartoon cover.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
And it's normally a book that I would try in October because if you know me, like, I need witchy books in October. I'm a very, what's the word? Like a month by month reader. Like,
no, you're a seasonal reader. That's what it is. You are a seasonal reader.
Love that I have a podcast and I can't figure out that word. Seasonal readers. So they really are. Especially when you have like a professional camera pointed at you and these freaking mics. They're insane.
No, exactly. You're fine.
So
this is very much setting the stage. This book better be good. I'm just saying.
It's not. It's like more so embarrassing.
Okay.
But okay, so
we don't judge here, Sonia.
You do. Maybe the listeners don't, but I know you do.
No,
and you will once I say it. But it literally has a girl with like a witch hat in a cartoon on the cover. And
Sonia, this reminds me of when you were a witch for Halloween when we were you were probably like 11 years old.
Yeah.
You wore a black hat, black witch hat.
You know those
and
like
the outfit had like netting.
Yeah, and those kitty like makeup kits that you get with your Halloween costumes as a kid.
Exactly.
And it literally for a witch, it had yellow, red, and maybe black. And my dad put that makeup on me. And I think
you had red eyeliner, or not eyeliner, red eyeshadow on.
No, it was yellow eyeshadow with red lipstick. And like the lipstick like wasn't even on my lips. I just remember my dad putting it on me and like I think we both couldn't stop laughing because it was so ridiculous. But that was like so much fun. One of my favorite costumes.
Yes, but that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah, so like since childhood loved witches. Okay. So this is the book that I chose.
Okay.
And it is called Spookily Yours by Jennifer Chipman.
No, this is so bad.
And I just want to say, Jennifer Chipman, like I salute you. Thank you
Jennifer
so
Chipman?
much. She's an author. Don't disrespect her name.
Clearly,
okay?
She's published, so she's doing well. She's doing well.
Yeah, and she like really saved my night that night. And the night since. And I just want to say, I started it like Saturday. It's now, Tuesday? Mm-hmm. I am like 6% into the book. Like, I'm not very far, but...
You're telling me Spookily in whatever?
Spookily Yours.
Spookily Yours is how many pages? Like maybe 600?
No, it's not. I'm only 6% in because I haven't had a chance to read during the day. I'm only reading it at night.
Okay.
And, I just like will read a little bit and I pass out.
Okay, got it.
But it's honestly the perfect book for me right now. It's I want to say it's a fall book recommendation, but I'm not so far in to like really, because I don't know, at 20% it can go haywire. Like, I don't know.
I agree. Everything turns at like that 12% mark for me.
Yeah, but so far at my 6% mark, I
also
would
people asking like, how do you know the percentages? Is because we both read on our Kindles, and at the bottom of my Kindle,
we're Kindle
pages,
girlies.
Yes, Kindle girlies through and through. We'll probably never go back to a hard copy or paperback. But on the Kindle, you can switch the settings so it has your percentages at the bottom, and that's exactly how I know that books always turn for me at like that 10 to 12% range.
Yeah,
definitely.
But this book, it's honestly so perfect. It's such a fall witchy vibe, and I'll so far set the scene. Okay. So it's this girl. She works or owns a cafe called the Witch's Brew, which I think is so cute.
Okay.
And they have like actual like support animals as cats or something. Like you have to have a bond, and she like just lost hers. Now the more I'm talking about it, I'm like, I should probably shut up.
Okay, but that's on your docket currently.
That's what I'm reading currently, and it has been wonderful. Like,
can honestly, I just say right now for our next episode, I have a feeling you're going to come back to it and tell me that it switched for you at that 12% mark and that you stopped reading it. How much
possibly? You know what? If it does, I'll still salute Jennifer because I'm
she
thankful.
Saved you that night.
No. Multiple nights. I'm thankful to her, and I don't want to hear slander. Okay,
got it. Jennifer, we salute you. Sonny salutes you.
Yeah, that's my current book. The vibes, honestly, are doing it for me. She's like talking about like the leaves turning.
Okay, well then I need you to really read the next Mrs. Parrish first, and then the last Mrs. Parrish. I think you would like it. I think you would enjoy it.
Love to hear it.
That's my rec for just Sonia, because I have more recs coming for you guys later.
Perfect. Okay,
got it.
And then I think before we give our recommendations TBR, let's talk about The Perfect Couple on Netflix, aka The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hildebrand. They made it into, the book. They made it into a mini TV series on Netflix. And I did not read the book. You read the book.
I read the book deep into COVID. I think it was probably like book number 10 for me whenever I started reading again during COVID. And honestly, if you've read Ellen Hildebrand books, you will understand the vibe of the book and the show. It is all about Nantucket. Like I think she still lives in Nantucket, and she is like a local celebrity there from what I hear. And her books, the setting is always picture perfect. She describes the town as so just like quaint and like the community aspect of it. And I was so excited that they were turning this into a mini series on Netflix. I had such high hopes. And do you want to give like your thoughts before I go into it?
I'll give my thoughts because I didn't read the book, so I'm sure you'll have comments about like what was different about the show and book. But I just want to say, like, I actually have not ever read an Ellen Hildebrand book.
No, stop. Ever?
No, and I do this thing, and it's really wrong of me, okay? I don't know why I do it, but whenever there are books that go so viral and just like really viral authors and stuff, I, for some reason, I'm like, it's like an outfit, you know? Like you buy the perfect dress, and you're like, I am waiting for the perfect occasion to wear this dress.
Yes.
With books, I am waiting for the perfect environment, time to read that book that everyone is saying is so good.
Can I give you a time when this is like the perfect book to read?
Sure.
I think this is a fall vacation read.
Okay,
not a summer vacation read, even though everyone thinks like the Nantucket vibes are perfect for summer.
I saw like in the show they were wearing coats and stuff. I was so confused. But now I guess now it makes sense. So yeah, I've never read a book of hers, and I loved the show. Like, okay, first of all, one of my favorite shows in the entire world, The Undoing.
Oh my gosh.
What's her name?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, thank you.
How could you forget?
No, my
Nicole's
brain is
name.
not working.
Yes.
I love her, and I loved her in the show. And for me, it's like I don't love TV like that very often. So if I love a show, it's just so wild for me, and I will have it in my brain forever. And that show, The Undoing, was a mini series. And when I found out,
that was HBO, right?
I think so, yeah. When I found out that this was a mini series, I was like, okay, I have to watch the show instead of reading the book, because for me it was like, should I wait to read the book and miss being a part of this like whole conversation about the show, or should I just watch it? And I was just like, when I found out it was a mini series, I was like, okay, like this is what I'm doing for the next 2 days.
No, and I'm so glad that you chose to watch it, because the book was different, and I'll explain how. So I'm very glad that you decided to watch it instead.
Perfect. The show, like Nicole Kidman was so good. I loved all of the actors. I thought the picturesque home, the environment, like the ocean, that like thing that people always talk about where it's like a rich woman with like a glass of wine with the cardigan just wrapped around her. That's literally what it was.
That's
it was so funny.
Kidman to a T.
Every time she did that, I was like, oh my God, this is so hilarious.
I agree.
But I just loved it. I loved the storyline. I really didn't know what it was about, and so everything was a surprise. And it was so amazing. I have thoughts, and once I say them, it's not going to sound like I loved the show, but I did. But there were just some parts that were so like funny / weird to me that didn't make sense. Not cringe for me, but just confusing. But overall, I loved it. But I'll get into my thoughts. Okay, first of all.
And when you're talking about this, I feel like I'm also going to pick and probe your comments. But I also want to say I loved it. It was very much different than the book, but my overall feeling for the show, loved it.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, Amelia, I don't know if she was the main character along with Greer. Like, I don't know how they were trying to portray that. But I don't understand Amelia. Like, who are you? Like, what's your point of view? She just kept saying things and doing things that would, like, contradict each other.
Right, they didn't match up.
Because, you know, she's supposed to be getting married. And obviously, if you're marrying someone, like, you love them. But she was... And in the show, they said that she had cold feet, and that's not cold feet. Like, thinking if you actually want to marry this person, that's not cold feet. That's like, maybe you should like think about this a little bit more, you know?
She didn't even seem like she liked him.
Yeah.
Like him as a person, because anytime he was around, I feel like she was retrieving like in her body.
Yeah. And like the family were obviously very wealthy, right? And they even made a comment like, some of the women are just there for the money. But she was someone that apparently hated money. It was like, if you had anything in your bank account, like, get away from me.
She was so wildly opposed to the wealth that it made no sense why she was in that setting, why she was with him.
Well, it was like, okay, you don't like him. You don't want the money. What are you here for? What is this rehearsal dinner for? What is this wedding for? Like, it
No, I did not understand her
sense.
intention at all.
And then I just feel like, if you're marrying into a family, and no matter if they're rich or not, like, you respect the in-laws, you try to get to know the family, you don't just sit there and judge the family. And I feel like she literally had nothing to contribute, nothing to say, nothing to talk about besides side-eye the family during the dinners, until there was something salacious to be talked about. She literally could not give an F about his family or pleasing his parents or siblings until like she found out about the like women before her that like went missing and had an affair with her future father-in-law. And she was like, what happened to her? At the dinner table, like, you didn't want to say a word, and now all of a sudden you're wanting to talk about them just because there's like something negative that happened before. And I'm sorry, walking outside of the home in your bra and underwear.
Not even the home. She was walking outside of like her room with her fiance.
In her bra and underwear, not only in front of her mother-in-law, but in front of the staff of like 100 people setting up for her rehearsal dinner. And Greer, her mother-in-law, was so nice to say it in that way of like, oh, didn't I buy you a robe like for these situations? I would have been like, get your ass inside and cover your ass. Like, what are you doing?
No, exactly.
She could have seen her father-in-law. She could have seen the 17-year-old boy in the house. Anyone else? Like, do you not have respect? And she was like, oh, there was a ladybug. Okay, like what does a ladybug have to do with
I don't even remember this because it was irrelevant.
She was
like why?
She saw a ladybug and she wanted to free the ladybug outside, and that's why she went out in her bra and underwear.
I'm sorry, you live in Nantucket. Every single room has a window, a balcony. Take it out from there.
It was
like, why are you stepping outside of your room?
It was
undressed?
Psychotic. And then also her judgment of everyone, of her friend Merritt. Oh, by the way, we didn't even say this. We're recapping with a crap ton of spoilers. So we should have said that in the beginning. But anyway, she was yelling and judging her friend for having an affair with her father-in-law, correct?
Yes.
Then she was judging her father-in-law for having another affair previously, correct?
Correct.
So now tell me, why are you now going to have an affair of your own and cheat on your fiance with not a random person, but with his best friend, his best man, the guy that he picked over his brother to be his best man?
Also his only friend. There was nobody else there for her side.
Yeah, but like imagine the hypocrisy, the amount of judgment that you have for these people for having an affair, and you literally turn and do that to your fiance. That didn't make sense to me. And then here's the kicker.
Oh, no.
She really likes this man, cannot stop staring at his six-pack, okay? Like having dinner in front of a fire, having wine with him. And then the second she finds out that he is loaded, okay? Kidnap rich, apparently.
Also, I loved that analogy, kidnap rich.
Love, okay? She just falls out of love with this guy. She's like, I can't believe it. I thought you were one of me, a poor person in this rich man's house. I can't believe you hid this from me. Why didn't you tell me? Isn't that, like, shouldn't that be your dream? Like, this man, you didn't even know that he had money. Apparently he was humble, salt of the earth. Right. Like, you felt connected to him. And then, like, on the back end has a padded bank account. Like, padded bank account. If you, like, didn't know this before, like, you've known him for a long period of time now, right? Like, at least a year. And you now just find this out. And through his mannerisms, you did not know this. Why does it matter to you now? Made no sense.
Right.
Okay? And then, I'm sorry, like, her hooking up with her ex while he is drunk and she is sober. Why did they put that in the show? Was that in the book?
No, and it was so unnecessary.
That was unnecessary. So weird. I really just could not stand that. Like, that was, unnecessary, uncalled for, like, shouldn't have been in there. So I didn't understand her, and also her talking about Merritt as if she was like, I know that she has this reputation of
and that
being
she was loose. Yes, why would you say that about your friend?
No, but everyone was saying that she's a party girl. And so she was telling the cops, like, hey, I'm sure you're hearing this. That's not true. She wasn't like that. And she was saying this. And, like, Merritt sent pictures of herself, one in a bikini, to her fiance for him to paint of her. Okay, weird. She had an affair with your father-in-law and got pregnant with his child. Like, maybe...
She doesn't have the best judgment, so now you saying that she wasn't like that doesn't really collaborate with the story at all.
Yeah, that was wild. Also, side note, it was just so funny that Merritt only had one outfit in the show, and it was a Missoni dress. And like to show up to like, I'm sure what is like a black tie wedding in a Missoni outfit. It was just so funny.
No,
and it really showed that she was like out of her realm, you know?
No, the sister-in-law was like, she's in full-on bathing suit and cover-up. That's how she's dressed for a rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, it was funny, but I really
not a lie,
liked.
For sure.
I really liked how they showed scenes with like every character that made you think that they were the murderer of Merritt, and you're like, oh, it was him. It was him. And then they showed in the end like exactly what happened. I really liked that like storytelling.
Right.
And also, I forgot to mention. By the end of it,
did you think that it was the person who did it?
I liked that it was her. What was her name? Dakota Johnson. That's the actress.
Dakota Fanning.
Oh, oopsies, Dakota Fanning. What's her character's name?
Honestly, I forgot.
But
they changed up the names from the book, so I'm getting confused now. But yes,
I really liked that it was her because she was like pregnant, and I would never think that like a pregnant woman could do that.
No, I love that was her justification. She's like, "But I'm pregnant," and they're
she's like,
"You could be pregnant in jail."
Yeah, she's like, "I can't go to jail. I'm pregnant." I'm like, "Okay, like people have babies in jail. Right. Are you dumb?"
And you're about to pop. You'll be fine. You'll be back in jail.
It was. I liked it. I liked that they chose her. Overall, really liked it. Tag was so interesting. I just like, I don't know. I couldn't get a read on him either because they kept talking about his affairs and stuff. But he just seemed like such a chill dude, like just golfing all day, like no job. I was like, what? Like you really need an affair to like have an even more beautiful life for yourself. Like I didn't understand. I loved Greer, like the jump scare of her being an escort at the end.
No.
What?
Yes.
I could not see her, and it was just
anything
so
other
weird.
than like she's always had this life.
No, like she was born into this. What do you mean she was an escort?
No, I agree. Okay, so who was your favorite character?
Oh my god, that's so hard. I had so many. Honestly,
no, but you have to pick one.
Okay, if I had to choose one, it would be Greer because I totally understood. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. I feel like anytime there's a show where it's like the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, it's always like the evil mother-in-law, you know? I thought she was so like understanding because if you are from that family that's like so wealthy to have a $40 million home.
It's like a generational like lifestyle, right?
Yeah, $40 million home in Nantucket. If you marry someone who's like not from that type of family, I feel like there's a lot of judgment. You get a lot of like setbacks within that relationship and just like drama with like the other family members of like bringing in an outsider, right? I loved that Greer never even talked about that. She was more so telling Amelia, like, I don't think that you love my son. Like, you are here and like you're not trying to impress us, talk to us, make connections with us, which was so true. Like, and she even said, you know, when I married Tag, I was thinking about his parents and like how to impress them, like how to dress a certain way, like what do I talk to them about, and like how do I form that relationship?
And I think just like general interest in like the person that you love and their family.
Yeah.
General interest, like not even the fact they are this wealthy, come from this type of family.
Yeah.
And you know, the entire family like understands like the wealth and the lifestyle that comes along with it.
Yeah, but she didn't care about that at all. She was just like, take interest in us. And also when Amelia's parents were like staying with them and Greer was doing like the whole photo shoot, she invited her parents to be part of that photo shoot when she didn't have to. I just thought she
wanted them to like feel included, which I think some people could say from that was she wanted not outsiders, but she wanted to show that she was also like or there was also commoners like part of her family, which I could also see that
to form like a good reputation.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. But it's a magazine shoot. She did not have to say that. She could have said one single sentence like, I love my future in-laws.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And left it at that.
Yeah.
I loved her. I loved it that she was an author. And like we talked about in the previous episode, I love when and I know this was a TV show, but it was based on a book. I love when like books talk about like book Tings in that, you know, like being an author, being a reader, things
and
of that
inner
nature.
workings of like being an author, how to promote a book, like what actually goes behind the scenes. I love that aspect.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way that it was different from the book. So when I first started watching it, I was like, I don't think I read this book. Like, it was that different. And Amelia's name was actually Celeste in the book, and I believe so. So like, wait, I don't know if these are the same characters. So I had to go back and make sure on Goodreads I had actually read it and gave it a rating.
Wait, what was your rating?
I think it was a 4.
Okay.
I think it was a 4. But yeah, so her name was different. Amelia was less mopey in the book. This was my biggest problem with the show.
You're so right. She was so
mopey. She literally
hated everything, hated the world.
I'm sorry, if this is your wedding weekend, maybe be a little more excited to be there and be a little bit more gracious for your hosts that are actually going to be hosting your wedding weekend. None of that. She was moping around the house, moping around the venue that was actually going to be the setting for her wedding, and did not even feel like she loved her fiance, soon-to-be husband. Got it? That was one biggest thing for me, where Amelia just, oh my gosh, her attitude. I couldn't deal with it. And then
just ungrateful all around.
So ungrateful. My comedic relief in this book was the older brother.
Oh my god, I didn't even talk about him. You've changed my mind on him, by the way, because when I was watching, he was insufferable.
Okay.
And I was just thinking, that he was more so ungrateful. Like, asking for a loan when I'm sure you already have a trust fund. And his wife asking for a bigger New York apartment or something.
It was the exact way that he needed to act, right?
Yeah.
Like he was
so good at it.
He was so good at it.
Yeah.
The quintessential like son of the firstborn son of a family that is literally has a house on Nantucket. Exactly. Yeah. And has zero ambition, plans to just live off of his trust fund when he actually gets the trust fund. Until then, he's going to have a beautiful wife that is pregnant, but then continue to cheat on her with some French hooker that's literally twice his age and friends with his parents. He was so ungrateful for the standing that he had in life, but honestly, comedic relief during the show. I could not stand to see more of Amelia. I needed to see less of her.
Yeah.
Merritt. Oh my gosh. I feel like Merritt, the actress who played Merritt, I'm forgetting her name now. Love her like in White Lotus.
Fahey.
Oh, Megan Fahey. She's stunning. I feel like her and Amelia could have switched roles in the movie.
Oh.
And she would have done the Amelia
character
role
justice.
Like from
I love
the book.
That actress.
Yes. Mm-hmm. She did so well. I feel like everything that she's been in, Bold Type, wow. Such a throwback. Like, remember how
she was my favorite one.
Yes.
I hated
all the other ones. Yeah. No, but I think Merritt and Amelia's characters really could have been switched and it would have been perfect. But yeah, the ending of the book, very different than the way they ended the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this.
What the ending
so
was.
Should I just ruin the book for everybody? I don't know if at this
you
point.
Can skip
I think,
if you want to.
If you feel like that you're going to read the book, because honestly, I think it is different enough that you could read the book, which is why I want Sonia to read the book. So in the book, the daughter-in-law, the older daughter-in-law, she was a part of the actual murder of Merritt, but it was more of an accident and less so like, I'm actually going to make you drown in this ocean. And no one ever found out that it was her at the end of the book. So
that's crazy. And I wonder why they changed it.
Right? I don't know if they needed like a perfect little bow to end the show and say, this is the person that did it. They actually went to prison, and it was more of like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant, she's going to prison.
I feel like it actually makes sense for her to get away with it because you just always hear about these rich people getting away with murder, basically. Yeah. And if you commit a crime and have enough money to cover it up, because they were in the pockets of the police, Yeah,
and in the book, they just honestly, the daughter-in-law wanted to teach the older mistress a lesson. She just wanted to like quietly drug her for the night so her husband wouldn't run off with her.
That's so
for one
crazy.
night. Like, that's wild to me. But yeah, so the murder wasn't planned in the book, and the way that it ended in the show, I think it was well done for the show, but that's not how it ended in the book.
Yeah.
So I think overall though, so great.
Good.
And I'm gonna need more books to be turned into miniseries because I think they're doing it
so
such
well.
justice. Yes, and I feel like bringing this into like wide media, I think it'll really get people to start reading.
Wait, I have
and then
an on the
waiting
spot
for the
question
show.
for you.
Okay, got it.
Do you have a book in your brain that you think would be good as a miniseries?
Ooh.
I think.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, you go.
I think The Last Mrs. Parrish and The Next Mrs. Parrish.
Oh my God, you're obsessed.
No, I'm not obsessed. I think the way that I'm gonna rate these books will likely be like a 3.5 or a 4, but I think in a show it has enough legs to stand on to be a wide range of like emotions, characters that are part of it, and to show the full picture. I think the series on that would be perfect.
Okay. I have a book. I just want to look at my list real quick, just to make sure that this is like the book that I want to go with. But I have two.
And wait, can I give you the character for The Last Mrs. Parrish book that I would want?
Oh, I would love.
Because as soon as you said this, I feel like this would go.
I would love.
Okay, so in The Last Mrs. Parrish, the mistress who ends up getting married to the guy in the book.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. It would be Dakota Johnson. She would be the
Dakota
mistress.
Johnson, not Dakota Fanning.
Correct. Not Dakota Fanning, who was in The Perfect Couple. Dakota Johnson would play the perfect mistress in this book.
Love. Okay, do you want to hear mine?
Yes.
And
you're going to be able to guess it? Probably not, right?
Well, try. I don't even know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't know if you've read this book.
Okay.
I can't remember. Okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
The Social Climber by Amanda Pellegrino.
Did I recommend this book to you?
No.
Oh, okay. I recommended it to all my friends. Everybody loved it. 5 out of 5 if you haven't read this book.
Okay.
You need to read it. And honestly, this needs to be a part of our fall recommendation.
Okay, so we'll say it now.
Yes.
The Social Climber by Amanda Pellegrino. Okay, I just want to say this. I do not want to give you a summary because I do not want to take away from like
the joy of reading this book.
Yes, because from the title, I'll just say this. From the title, you think it's one thing and it's not that.
Nope.
Okay, and the title is what made me hold off on it for a while.
Oh, really?
And it just, honestly, it's one of my top reads for the year, but it's also one of my top reads for life. Probably in my top, it is in my top 5 books.
Okay.
It was so good.
It's so layered.
It's so layered, but I think it would be great as a miniseries. And actually, Nicole Kidman could totally play the mom.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
We're just on like a Nicole Kidman best domestic.
Love
like,
her. Wait, I kind of,
yes.
you know what? And I think Megan Fahey would be great as the daughter too.
Okay, I could see it. But I'm just loving both of them right now, so I don't know if I'm skewed by that.
Yeah.
At this point, but I think Social Climber is a great recommendation for it to be turned into a miniseries. And honestly, I feel like in the next year or so, we're going to see a lot more of that happening because I don't watch TV anymore at all, really, because nothing sounds interesting to me and they remake everything from the past. And it's just like, why am I going to watch like a new rendition of something that I've already watched? Like, there's no point.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, I have one more.
Oh, okay.
The Vanishing Hour by Seraphina Novaglass.
Okay.
Also another top 5 lifetime reads of mine.
Literally just like the name of that like gives me goosebumps. Like it's such a great read, 5 out of 5.
Imagine the like picturesque nature of that book.
Yes.
And the like dark content of it.
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They could do so much with that. That would be creepy. They should do that and have it come out next year in October.
That could easily be turned into a horror. And then I can't watch it.
It basically, yeah.
I can read horror or like it tease the line of horror, but I can't watch a horror. So if they make that, I think it needs to be more of a thriller than a horror to like actually bring in more audience to the book.
Yeah, but great.
Great. Okay, do you want to go into your fall recommendations? Because I feel like we've already kind of talked about it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
Yes. Okay. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell.
Love.
I loved this book.
That was the one about the podcaster,
yes.
Right?
So it's this podcaster who honestly loves to kind of get the background on women and
their different stories.
Right,
and stuff.
yeah. So she focuses on like a woman that she wants to interview, kind of get to know, and she's just so bored of that concept and continually like finding new leads and doing all of that. So she's bored of that. And then she meets this woman who they share a birthday. They come across each other at their birthday dinner in a bathroom. And she's like, oh my God, we have the same birthday. Okay, cool. And then this creepy woman infiltrates her life, gets her to become more intrigued with how she lives. Exactly. Yeah. And she begins to interview her, and it gets twisted pretty quickly because honestly, I forgot about the title of the book as I was reading it. The title, None of This Is True, makes so much sense. It's chilling, but not to a point where it like freaks you out, but it just makes you think. And I think it is the perfect fall read to kind of just like get you into the mode of like October, Halloween. So None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, I think would be my first recommendation.
That was a great summary without giving too much away.
Yes, I think so.
I would read it if I had read it.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have another one?
I do, but please read None of This Is True and let us know what you think. I would love to hear other people's thoughts on it because I know I loved it, you loved it, and I don't think I've recommended that one to my friends yet. Mm-hmm. So my friends, if you're listening, let me know what you think. So that was my first one, and then my second one is this one I read a little bit ago. I read it during the springtime. Did you hear about Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul? This one I saw as a recommendation on Instagram by someone that I follow, and I just kind of loved their like lifestyle content. But it is about a Hollywood, I think it was from the 80s. It's a black woman in Hollywood kind of getting her feet wet in the industry, and she ends up becoming a sensation, and her family ties kind of become the topic of interest. And once she passes away, her neighbors, they have a couple of daughters, and they kind of start looking into her life a little bit more because now they've inherited so much money from her because she didn't have a family or kids, that they're just like, wait, why is she leaving all of this inheritance to us? And so they kind of unravel her life, how she got into Hollywood, what happened after she became a part of this industry, and just like her life in general. So I think it just gives...
I didn't even know that's what the book was about. Yes. And now it sounds interesting.
Exactly. And I don't want to say it's like historical fiction, but I've honestly never read a book about like Hollywood in the 80s or 70s. I'm forgetting the timeline now, but how hard it was at that time for people of color to get into the industry, how much it really took and how many connections it took for them to kind of break in. And once they actually were in the industry, how hard it was to kind of sustain that type of anonymity and just like fame and getting more projects. So her like, I think just her industry like involvement and what happened like after she dies with the inheritance that she left to her neighbor's daughters. Perfect fall read.
Okay. I think we might have like different definitions of fall read.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because
are yours like spooky and mysterious? Or getting us to that? Okay.
Yeah, okay, so
well, then that's good. I feel like everyone kind of has their own vibe.
That's true.
We'll see like who people vibe.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's someone that loves your picks.
People on both sides,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so my first one is called Hallow Heathens by Nicole Fiorna. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. And this is, you can read it. She has a few books that went viral, but this is, I think, maybe only like 1 out of 2 books that I've read of hers. And I really liked this book. This is a perfect fall read, September, October. It's perfectly spooky, and the like aura of it is so different. She paints such like the perfect world for this like time. Like, so let me explain. So this is, oh my God, what's it called? Fantasy kind of book. And they're like humans, like it's not like dragons, you know? But this world, is so out of like my realm that I don't understand. Yeah, and this is not a recommendation to you, by the way. This is a recommendation to other people that read the books that I read. But it's basically, it's a city that once you get in, you can't get out of unless the city wants to spit you out, basically. So if you go in, you're stuck in there. And they don't have any sunny days. It's like all dark and cloudy. Like perfect. No, my perfect life. Like take me into the city. I hate the sun. And
I hate the sun. Oh
so gosh. She goes, and in the town, there's like mystical things happening. Like they have an apothecary, so it's like, I don't want to say witches, but like things of that nature. And there's a group of guys where there's basically like a curse on them, and they can't reveal their faces. So it's like regular people and then these guys, and there are murders happening every night. So every morning you wake up and like someone finds a body and you find out who's murdered. And there is this thing in the book that I've never forgotten. And in the book, there's this like old-timey radio personality, and no one knows who it is. But it comes on in the morning and at night, It's called Freddie in the Morning, and they type it out like Freddie in the Morning. Like there's like
spooky?
Kind of, yeah. And he basically, in the morning, it's like, Freddie in the morning, this is like the body we found today. And he like gives you a rundown of like what happened at night, like where they found the body, who found the body. And he kind of says it vaguely. There's like clues in there. And then throughout like the chapter, you find out like who the body was and like what they think happened. And so the whole town, and then at night, at like dawn, like at, not dawn, sorry, at like, let's say 9 p.m. or something, he says basically go home and like lock your doors and board up. Like if you're out, it's time to get the F home, And so it's like a nighttime thing of like, if you're not home, like you gotta go home. And people are literally boarding up their windows and trying to find ways for like the murderer to like not get inside, so they won't be the ones that are killed.
Can I just say I'm very scared to pick our October book of the month, because if these are the books that you're recommending for the fall, I'm scared of what we're gonna read in October.
I'm really excited to find a book. I don't have a book in mind, but if you guys do, anyone that's listening that's like a spooky, scary, like fall vibes, like raining all day, like we need that sort of book. And so,
that's a great rec for the fall. Like your type of rec.
Exactly. And it's really good. There is a second book in that series. I didn't love it, so I wouldn't recommend that one, but I just kept going with it because it took place in the same town. And so I just like wanted to... So
it's like a continuation of the story.
But it wasn't great. But that's Hollow Heathens by Nicole Fiorina. And then the next one is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll.
I've heard great things.
And this one, it's not like Hollow Heathens at all, This is based on Ted Bundy's victims. And it's like the victims of his last crime, the sorority house, that one. And it follows this girl who, she's the one that saw Ted Bundy and was able to like ID him basically. she saw him, he didn't see her. And that's how the book starts out during those murders. She hears something and she follows it through the house. She goes downstairs and she sees Ted Bundy leaving the home. And then she, you know, finds the bodies in the house and it unravels from there. And it's not fully like factually accurate. Jessica Knoll like takes the story and kind of makes it her own. And Ted Bundy is never mentioned in the book, and I think that was her way of keeping it respectful. Based. She said it was loosely based, but to me, it's like really
there's
close.
You can see, okay. This has been on my list for so long.
Okay, so let me say this. This is the second most traumatic book for me. If you are into horror and can read that kind of stuff, especially knowing that this is based on a true story and this is what this horrible man actually did, because I know of someone who can stomach to read that, then this is a great book recommendation for you. If you are someone who's like probably going to take my Hallow Heathens recommendation, I don't know if like
you want to take this one. Okay.
Yeah. It's really dark and it goes through another one of his crimes too. And I specifically remember the other crime. Obviously they don't know exactly what happened with that girl, but she writes it as like something that could have happened. And in such detail that I kind of had a problem with the book because honestly, it was so good.
Descriptive too?
Yeah. And that other crime that she mentions at the end, the way it was described when the police, the family don't really know exactly what went down. The way she writes it, I don't know. I didn't feel good about that part. But I know that she did talk to the survivors, and like got their take before writing this book. So that makes me feel better. But I'm adding this as a fall recommendation just because it's a spooky, I shouldn't even say spooky because that makes it like immature. Yeah, it's just a scary read. So if you're into that kind of thing.
No, I mean, that's a great rec. It's been on my list for so long. I've just never been in like the mental state to actually stomach that. And so I'm glad that you gave. Yes, I'm glad that you gave that disclaimer.
I love them saying that to you, and then I'm like recommending
please don't, yeah.
But you know, now people know.
Right.
And then
I think
I'll say my next serious one, and then go into a more lighthearted one. Okay.
Oh wow! So you have like a long list right here of recs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me. The next one is On a Quiet Street by Seraphina Novaglass.
Oh my gosh.
I say this girl's name so often. Like, I'm obsessed with her.
Because you just love her name, but
her books, it's so good. This is a regular, I would say, like, fall thriller. Okay. Yes. It's not based on like a serial killer or anything. I think anyone can stomach this. It's just like a really great thriller. And then the next one is a mix of romance and a mystery. It's Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry.
Okay.
And this girl in the book, she's a police officer, and the guy lives like on a sprawling ranch.
Okay.
And there's a murder in town, and she's helping to find the murder.
Got it.
And it's like a small town, spooky romance book. And I remember really enjoying it. I read it last year. It was like a great fall read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And then fall TBR. I totally forgot about our next book, The Heiress. I know. That's on my TBR, guys.
Yes, that's on my TBR. And honestly, I feel like we gave a lot of recs to people. So I don't even know if...
Oh, I have a TBR.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, I have one.
Recommendations that I've read those books already.
True.
And, yeah, like some of these, I'm not going to get to all of these, like, in September, but I'll just, like, you know, put them for October.
On my TBR, I honestly didn't read the full description because I usually don't, like... if it's for someone that I'm like actually going to recommend, I just need to like go back and like read the description, make sure that I would recommend this book. But for this one, The Glass Hotel by...
Wait, this is your full TBR?
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna read?
This is what I'm gonna read. Yeah.
The way you explained it sounded like you read it already.
Oh, no. The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. The things that like picked up from the description was kind of about like greed and delusion. And honestly, I feel it kind of sounded like Kitty Carr to me, or like the basis of it. So I am very, very excited to read it. I honestly don't know if I'm going to get to it this month, so I may keep it on the back burner, but it's still on my TBR list. So The Glass Hotel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine is the book that we were thinking about choosing as our first book instead of Funny Story. It's All the Colors of the Dark by Chris Whitaker. And the reason we didn't choose this book is because we've never read a book by this author before. And just in case it wasn't good, that's just like...
Yeah, we needed to make sure it was actually like readable.
Yeah, for our first book, you know? And also, we don't read male authors.
I know that's so bad to say, and I feel bad saying it, but it's the truth. I don't know if I could relate.
And I feel like maybe the content might be different in a way that we're not used to or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to try it out. And I saw a picture of the First Lady reading it on a beach.
You did send me this.
And when I saw that, I was like, I didn't know the book was like that...
popular?
Yeah, because when I saw it, I saw it as a TikTok recommendation, and then I searched it, and not many people were talking about it. It's not like, what's one of the books that like go viral? Like,
I mean, Bright Young Women like went pretty viral.
Yeah, it just seemed more low key, and so I wanted to read it. Then I saw that picture of the First Lady, and I was like,
I have to read it.
Yeah, gotta bump it up. And then the next one. Okay, I just saw this today.
Okay.
And, like, I don't know, let's see how it goes. But it's called Given Our History by Kristen Miller. And I saw it because the cover, it's very fall-esque. So it has, like, the orange leaves.
Okay.
It's, like, a couple on the front with, I think, like, buildings in the back. And essentially... it's a romance book that takes place in the fall on a university campus, and both of like the characters are professors, or one is a professor, one is there to like do something else. So it reminded me of like, oh my god, like, you know, Yale, like whenever Rory went to Yale and Gilmore Girls, like. Kind of that vibe, but more like adult version.
Okay.
That's
like grad school rather than college.
Yeah, and so that's just like what it looked like to me. And it looks really cute. But you know, like we have been DNFing romances left and right. So that's why I don't have the highest hopes, but it looks really cute and just like lighthearted.
It deserves a chance.
Yeah. And then the next one, I just want to say, this went viral like 5 years ago. I am so late on this train, but the reason it came up for me was like in a really interesting way. Okay, so it's it's Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens.
Sonia, I feel like you've talked about reading this book.
No, I have. I've talked about it so much that my sister-in-law bought me the physical copy, I think, for Christmas last year, and I still haven't read it. And
I think that just means that you shouldn't read it at this point.
No, but like, you know how I was talking about like the dress analogy?
Yes.
Where you have the perfect dress, you're waiting for the perfect occasion to read it. That's me with this book.
With this book? Okay.
I'm waiting for like the perfect vibe, and I thought that would be like when the movie came out, and that didn't happen. I thought it would be when one of my favorite artists, Taylor Swift, released Carolina, one of my favorite songs for this movie. That didn't happen. But now this is what is actually going to make me read the book. Ready?
Okay.
I am now on Swamp Talk.
I'm speechless.
Do you know what that is?
No, I don't spend that much time on TikTok that I get into like little niches.
Yeah, okay, so apparently, I wouldn't know because I haven't read this book yet. This book is based like in a swamp neighborhood.
Okay.
Swampy neighborhood. And so I have been to NOLA before, and we went on like the swamp tour to see alligators and stuff.
This is so niche, yes.
When we were like going to the tour and on the tour, we saw these homes, and they were so close to the water, but they were built on stilts. And when I saw that, I was like, I would just get out of there, get out of Dodge. Like, why am I building a house on stilts?
Right.
And that was there because, like, obviously they deal with hurricanes and there's a buffer, right, between the water and the home. That's what I thought then. Then I got on Swamp Talk.
Oh, man.
And these people have homes that are on level with swamps/bayous. I don't know the difference. It's like one or the other. And these people on little tiny boats, like, go around this swamp neighborhood, and they literally will, like, show an alligator or a crocodile and pan to the house, okay?
What?
So if you live in this house and you open your front door, you can have an alligator or a crocodile or a snake right on your, like, front porch, which, like, you don't have. It's water.
No, thank you.
It is so crazy. Like, it gave me hives, honestly. And the neighbors, they're non-existent. They're like 0.2 miles away. I am just wondering, like, in an emergency, what do you do? Like, how, like, you can't get Amazon, right? Like, they're not going to bring a boat. Like, where do your Revolve packages go? I don't understand how these people live. And I saw this,
and your Revolve packages
and I thought, I was
irrelevant.
Like, oh my God, like, there's a book that I can possibly learn more about this, because I don't think these boat people have interviewed these swamp lady people yet.
Oh my God, my phone is listening to me, because I swear tomorrow I'm going to be on Swamp Talk, and it's all going to be
as everyone should be, because it's
I cannot
crazy.
be on like the niche side of TikToks. Like, that's
no, and
like
I'm trying to do
where
a deep
I draw
dive.
the line.
I'm trying to do a deep dive, and there's not much to dive about, and that's why I now
it's
really
because no one wants to dive
book.
into it.
I really want to read this book now, because I need to know, like, more information about how these people live. And, like, I think I remember hearing that there's, like, a body that's found in a bayou in this book.
Okay.
So I just want to hear about that, if they have alligators just roaming around this neighborhood.
I fully expect you to read this book before the next episode and report back.
Okay.
If you really are like that into Swamp Talk and very much interested in this book.
Okay, I'm excited.
And all because of Taylor Swift.
No, it's because of Swamp Talk. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Even she, one of my favorite artists, did not get me into
the fascination was there, and until booked Swamp Talk.
Yeah, so I'm excited to read the book.
Oh my God.
I'm excited to finally watch the movie of this book. And then I'm excited to continuously replay Carolina by Taylor Swift. Such an eerie song. And by the way, the first time I heard that song, I was thinking that it should be like in a horror film, because it was so eerie and spooky. And then I found out that it was like put out to be part of this spooky, scary book where the crawdads sing. And I just thought, like, what a talented girl. Like, me thinking that without even knowing the context, and then it turning out to be like what I thought it should be
I'm
for.
So smart.
No, she's so smart. She's so smart for doing that.
No, she's I agree. Okay, well, I need you to report back on this, because
I will report back.
And you don't have time to read this before our next episode, but you'll try.
If not, I'll do it for October. And speaking of Taylor Swift, this fall season, like, I'm just watching her, watching the game, seeing her outfits, watching the Cowboys
her first outfit to the Chiefs game. I still cannot stop thinking about it. Like,
stunning.
How does one person look that good to a football game? How does she sit through football games so long? Like, it's not a basketball game where you're done in 2.5 hours. You're sitting there for 4 hours. Okay, there's pre-kickoff, whatever it's called. Pre-kickoff, whatever. And then after it's over, I'm sure she's like taking some photos with Brittany Mahomes, with Travis, family. Like, how is she in that outfit sitting and chilling for 6 hours? I don't get it. And looking
stunning.
that good.
Yeah, so just like for fall, I'm so happy that she's part of it now. It's like my two worlds colliding.
Yes.
Football, and then every Sunday I get to see Taylor Swift, her outfits, just like talk about two things that I love. And then hopefully next time, maybe I'll bake something. Maybe I'll look up a World War II baking recipe since that book didn't work out. I can get something out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
no, I really need a wag on the Cowboys like Taylor Swift.
No, Sarah, listen, it would be
such
a different vibe because the Cowboys don't win like the Chiefs.
I know.
And it's a very, like...
That's true.
Sad outcome versus, you know,
season.
Cheering, being happy every week. It's very different. It's very...
well, maybe if we had that kind of motivation, we would actually do something. You know?
Oh, and before we wrap up, I just want to say one more fall thing that I've been doing.
Okay.
Which I did not think I would do. I saw everyone doing it on TikTok and I just thought like, wow, good for them. Like, I'm so happy for you. But I just like don't think I could do it. Which is rewatching, Gilmore Girls. And
oh my gosh, we talked about this last time.
No, and I saw everyone doing it on TikTok, and you know the videos that I saw were so cozy. I love baking, and they would like be baking, okay, and they would have like their iPad or like laptop like on the counter with Gilmore Girls playing.
Oh, that's good.
With a candle to the side. Good. The way it made me feel so happy, okay? And I just thought, man, like I can't watch Gilmore Girls because the only thing I really remembered about it was just the crappy things that Rory did and like the not so great scenes, you know, with family drama. Like I don't love that stuff. But I'm happy to report I have...
Did you start it?
I started it. I'm on episode 7, I think. And the family drama is not bugging me as much as I thought it would. Just because I think I overhyped it in my head. And then whenever I actually watch it, it's not as bad as it was like in my thoughts.
Okay.
And so now I'm just enjoying like the fall autumnal vibes.
I feel like that entire show is just fall. Like, did they have any other seasons?
It's fall. It's winter now because it's snowing.
Oh, okay.
And that's about it. And that's like my favorite thing in the world. So I'm so excited, and there are so many seasons. And yeah, I'm just like really happy about it. Are you doing anything to get into the fall spirit since we're talking about fall tings?
Not really.
Now that my
Honestly,
iPad is broken at the end. Okay.
It's still 90 degrees here, so I'm like not in the mood. The only thing I'm switching up is like my wardrobe. I do not care that it's 90 degrees out. I'm still wearing long sleeves all the time now. Like I don't care. I'm in my jeans, my pants, like it's full blown fall for me. And also my nails. I'm officially in the fall season because I have chocolate brown nails. Also, it has nothing to do with our logo. It's just how I seasonally pick my colors.
We're authentic. I hate that word.
No, same. But like every year I have the exact same colors in the repertoire for the year.
Yeah.
And the September colors are usually a dark chocolate brown or a burgundy, just to really spearhead my like brain into fall. Because in Texas it's really not that cold just yet. Sonny, you're kind of still in like my August red is what I prefer.
That's what I did. I did
you did
red
an August
for
red?
August.
Okay.
And
what's the next color going to be? Do you have one?
I don't.
Okay.
I think I might do burgundy because that's just like what I'm feeling. Even though it's like so close to red, but let's see. Let's see. Oh, wait. The next one is going to be like for October.
Our next one is going to be for our book of the month. For the Heiress. I feel like you'll have new nails by then.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. It's the month of October, Halloween. So I gotta figure out my
Should you
Halloween
go full blown
vibe.
like black?
I never do black. These hands are not made for black.
No.
No.
My nails are made for 4 colors, I would say, and that's what I rotate between the entire year. So,
but love talking about fall tings. Thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
If you have recommendations for us, let us know. And yeah, read the Heiress.
Read the Heiress, and until next time, goodbye.
See you later. Bye.